Good morning. It's Vijay here. Today is Wednesday, 21st January 2026. Welcome to yet another episode of Pre-Market Commentary. Please note, I'm not a SEBI registered advisor. And if you like this kind of content, please like, share, and subscribe. We are slowly getting our numbers. We are only 1,500 now, and only about 150 people watch it. But I think I'm trying to make it worth for even those 150 people who watch it regularly. Keep the feedback coming so that we can only improve from here. So, what a fantastic 3 weeks for a person who's dealing in volatility. We have seen volatility begin from the 1st of January, and even yesterday we saw some sort of volatility, but mostly it is on the downside. So, the bulls have been beaten black and blue, and most of them have given up. And because of volatility more than anything else, one is okay, the prices are coming down, so one can keep buying on declines, and the pocketbook is declining. So yesterday I was listening to one very famous technical analyst, probably is the most popular technical analyst who comes on the mainstream media. So yesterday he was conducting spaces on Twitter, and he said he has sold lock, stock and barrel, everything, family portfolio zero, stocks zero, commodities zero, silver, gold, everything zero. So he is sitting 100% cash. And there were quite a bit of pushback from some people as to why are you going 100% cash as a technical analyst? Should you not be looking at, some entry points for which he was very firm? He said this is not the time to be in the market. This is the time to go into cash. And he did not mention as to when he will re-enter specifically. He said, let us watch till the next 2 months or something like that. Now, market doesn't wait for people who are going to wait just for 2 months. Very vaguely, if you are going to wait, market doesn't wait for you. You need to have your levels. If you're a technical analyst, people like us who are more fundamental analysts, we look at the big picture. Not that we get it right, but we try to look at the big picture and see what is happening. So the question of volatility, for instance, has been figuring in many discussions. Yesterday was one such discussion. So the question is volatility a friend or an enemy of the investor? So from where do we get, let's say, wisdom? Is from the venerable Warren Buffett, who says, look at market fluctuations as your friend rather than enemy, profit from folly rather than participate in it. Personally, having seen the markets, having been the student of the market for many years, and a keen observer of the market behavior before the budget, this kind of pre-budget behavior is very, very normal. It has happened almost always before the budget. When it is a bullish market, you used to see a pre-budget rally. In a sideways or a bearish market, you tend to see pre-budget fall. Now, typically, what we have seen in the last 3 weeks, for instance, has been a big fall. And yesterday, if you see the headlines, you saw that market weakens. Nifty slips to lowest level in 3 months. Nifty falls 1.4%, biggest single day fall since April 2025. This is from CNBC TV 18. Nifty managed to hold 2,500, 25,200, though it breached it intraday. All sectoral indices closed in the red. Realty lost about 5%. Declines outnumbered advances 5:1, or actually close to 6:1. So there was gloom, doom everywhere, and volatility was unimaginable in many stocks over the last few days. Yesterday, it was not so much of volatility, it was more like capitulation rather than volatility. People gave up because they saw US futures was down, Dow futures was down by about 850 points. So they thought they'll get a 1,000-point drop, and so they just would have gone berserk. If you look at FI positioning, FI sold yesterday, but more important, they have increased their position as far as the F&O is concerned. Nifty futures, they have gone up to 91%. I think yesterday's positioning as far as, the number of contracts is probably the highest ever. So what logic will have a bull have to buy? Yesterday, incidentally, we are not into Nifty, buying into Nifty or regular stocks, as I've been mentioning that 2026 is the year of natural resources, which means precious metals like gold and silver, and also coal, oil, metals, base metals like zinc, aluminum, and copper. So we are in that. About 80% of our portfolio is sitting there. So we are not so concerned. But just as a student of the market, we took some positions yesterday in Nifty and Bank Nifty, and I'm planning to continue to take it for the next 3 days, today, tomorrow, and Monday's holiday, so Friday, and build a small position for the budget. Now, if you look at yesterday, it'll be foolish, apparently, for somebody to take a long position because the market, this is Nifty futures. It is about 1250 points drop from the initial whatever I mean, from the beginning of the year and beginning of the month. So when it falls 1250 points, there is fear in the market. If you look at this candle, relentless selling, there is no pullback at all. There was a pullback in the green candle here. There was a slight, bullishness here in the other red candle, but it was sold by the bears. Here also it's sold by the bears. Bears are very, very strong. Yesterday they ruled. So there is no point in trying to fight a juggernaut, is what people feel. But if you are looking into technicals, then you have to look at oversold, overbought. And if you're a student of history, you should look at what happens in the last 3-4 days before the budget, when this kind of selling happens in the first 3 weeks of January. So let us not go too far. I can give many examples, but just let's look at what happened last year. Okay, this is 2025. There was a relentless selling from the beginning of January. The market, the Nifty fell 1500 points, close to 1500 points. It bottomed out on 27th of January, and for the next few days it went up. It went up close to about 850 to 900 points. So 1250 points is still lower than what happened last year. We still have 3 more days. If you say take 27th January was the bottom last time, it never repeats. History never repeats exactly. But the same fear was there. Incidentally, last year was the beginning of a bear market. When you see September end is when Nifty peaked out, but the mid cap and small cap peaked out a little later index. And then, there was a relentless selling month of January. And so you had this Trump having come, and he was talking of tariffs. So there was generally gloom and doom at that point of time, and nobody knew what will happen in the budget. And yet the market on 27th January, it bottomed out and then took on. And after the budget was good. They did a lot of things for the, common man, and it went up. But because it was a bear market, subsequently, it dropped. But what I'm trying to point out here is that there was a drop of 1500 points, relentless selling, and it bottomed out. You see here this candle also is a candle where, what they call, I think, Moribozu candle, where there is no scope for a bull at all in this particular long candle. So you had this in last year. I can take you back to 2021, but just let's look at this example. So the volatility was there. So if somewhere you had bought, even as this one on 20th, you would have suffered for maybe 3 days because it was it was sideways. Then it bottomed out on 27th, and then you could get an escape. I'm saying you could get an escape. Now, if we are bullish, then we should get much more than an escape, because this time the bearishness is more than last year, in my opinion. And also, if you look at data, incidentally, the mid cap, micro cap, and small cap, there is positive divergence on the RSI. So that is something to be considered. As far as the Nifty is concerned, RSI is somewhere close to 30, which is as good a time as any to bounce back. If you look at Asian markets today, Nikkei, for instance, opened 1,000 points lower. Now it is down by only about 200, 300 points. I feel that today is a day when you can dip your feet again. I'm not recommending anything, but at least I will do that. So FIs sold about 2,938 crores. DIs bought 3,666 crores. So 728 crores was bought by institutions. So let's quickly look at what is happening on the corporate front. Lupin and Galenciam signed a license agreement, a supply agreement for semaglutide, which is now the in thing, the drug which is very popular. They signed it for 23 countries. Galenciam will see the development manufacturing and supply by Lupin will handle the regulatory approvals. It will also handle distribution, 23 countries globally. So what did the global liquidities do? As I said, you know, Dow Jones was about 800 points lower. S&P fell 2%, and Nasdaq fell. Nasdaq was more or less flat. FTSE, CAC, and DAX were nervous because you see the futures were lower, and Trump was up to his regular tantrums. Incidentally, Trump is coming into Davos this evening, 6:30 Indian Standard Time. So there will be nervousness today. So that is why I am thinking that if you want to take a punt before the budget based on history and based on technicals, then I would like to draw this over 4 or 5 days. Yesterday we have taken something. Today we plan to buy some more of Nifty and Bank Nifty futures, and day after tomorrow and day after tomorrow. And Monday we will relax and let's see where it takes us. This is a very calculated risk which you have taken. Let's see what happens. In commodities, oil is steady at $64. Gold made an all-time high, and now gold has taken the lead from silver. Silver was 95, today is below 94. Now I think time for gold has come to lead. The baton has been passed on from silver, I believe. So we should see something interesting happening in gold more than silver. Copper, zinc, and aluminum are steady. What are the other stocks to watch? Persistent Systems, while the profit after tax is down 6.8%, it is impacted by 89 crores as a labor code cost. I don't know how the market will react because profit down itself, this one headline, they look at it and they can hammer it. AU Small Finance Bank NI has risen about 15%. Vikram Solar profit has surged about 98 crores. That's about up 5.2x. Restaurant Brand Asia, there is a takeover there. JSW Steel, there is a merger between Bhushan Power and Steel with JSW Group companies. Tata Steel has cleared, CCI has cleared the acquisition of 50% stake in Triveni Pellets. Power Grid is approved a 914 crore capex. SRF has done well, but SRF was hammered yesterday. I think the results were good, but you never know. Market sentiment could be still poor today, as I'm saying. That is why I'm, farming out my purchases over the next 3 days. JSW Energy, subsidiary signed PPA for a 1,600 megawatt thermal power plant in West Bengal. So that has been something interesting. Neutral is United Spirits. Volumes are down. I'm surprised people are drinking less. Normally, with so much of problems, people should drink more. I'm a teetotaler. I don't know too much about this, but still, this is what I thought. Hindustan Zinc, their board is considering a NCD fundraising on January 23rd. So it's neutral, but it's good, I think, for the company because, normally this fundraising by this Vedanta, the Vedanta group is always negative. So, but now they are in the driver's seat because silver is doing well, zinc is doing well. So any fundraising, they'll get a good deal. So what is the negative? Supreme Petrochem came up with poor results. QOQ profit after tax declined 37%. Shoppers Stop also profit dropped by about 70%. Scient ALM revenue fell about 31.7%. So there are some interesting thing. Core sector data, the December 8 core industries data went up by 3.7 versus 2.1% month on month. So that is interesting. We saw increase in coal. We saw an increase in steel slightly. Electricity consumption went up. That is good. So it means industrial production, IIP numbers also should be good. So at the end of the day, incidentally, one other thing is this US Supreme Court yesterday has again, postponed its decision on tariffs. They did not do it yesterday. So the next is somewhere mid-February, February 16th, I think, when they will opine on tariffs. So finally, now, as I said, volatility, it should be our friend. Warren Buffett says, many other people have said, many people have, we always talk of buying on declines or buying at bargains. And I think a lot of bargains are there. It is not necessary that the entire market is a bargain, but there are for instance, PSU stocks where we hold. I think there are bargains there. Some other small banking stocks are there. I think HDFC Bank could be a short-term bargain. Reliance is another stock. This is again not recommendation. This is just my thinking. So what I would conclude is in the words of the great Trump today, he says, "Make volatility great again." So I think we should, not worry too much about volatility. Try to capitalize on that. That is what we are planning to do. And whatever you do, I hope it is successful. Thank you for joining me.